Hi, everybody. This is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and these are your horoscopes for the month of April 2019. This is the horoscope, Sun and Rising sign horoscope for Cancers. So it's a pretty packed month, and so because a lot of transits are happening simultaneously, I am going to illustrate where the action is happening without taking you through each individual transit this month, just so that way things don't get overwhelming. So a huge amount of the focus this month is coming between house 9 and house 6. So typically, like I said, I would trace out every individual transit, but I'm going to try to keep things a little bit simple here. So I'm just going to give you the dates and tell you the general story about what's happening between all these planets in Pisces and Jupiter and Sagittarius in your 6th house. So on April 2nd, Mercury will conjoin with Neptune, getting together right there. And then by April 12th, it will square Jupiter in your 6th house. Then by April 10th, Venus will get into the conjunction with Neptune. And then by April 15th, Venus will get into the square with Jupiter. Overall, you're looking at a real emphasis on the 9th house and the 6th house. So what does it mean when planets are connecting across those two houses all month long? And in particular, there's a lot of Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter going on here. So we could say that this is a month of questioning or looking very deeply at your guiding beliefs. The 9th house was traditionally a house that had to do with what higher beliefs or authorities or even the law or the cosmic law or karmic law guided one's actions in the world. So this month is about a kind of sea change for you in terms of your guiding beliefs or philosophies, teachers and teachings, religion and education, anything that may provide you with higher knowledge or may guide your life in a different way, in a different direction, based on some kind of higher truth. So a lot of emphasis on the 9th house, but and the 9th house can also involve travel, by the way, for the sake of learning or growing or becoming more knowledgeable or something like that, or seeing and kind of expanding your horizons. So all of this is getting into a square with Jupiter in the 6th house. Now, Jupiter in the 6th house is an interesting signature. It's an interesting combination. 6th house was traditionally a house of strife and misfortune. So Jupiter, which is a planet that gives benefits and blessings, is getting in on this 9th house action this month and giving you benefits and blessings, but also bringing up challenges. For example, right now, you might be facing challenges in your life that are giving you room to pause and ask deeper or higher questions, to look for mentors or to seek for answers to troubles that you're experiencing. The idea here is that this month you're maybe going through some hardships or setbacks or challenges or frustrations, but that in the process you might be learning or finding teachers or seeking out a new path of education or travel, or sometimes a little bit of challenges while traveling, and generally finding some kind of silver lining or some kind of benefit. Like, for example, there's nothing like a setback or a crisis to clarify your sense of life purpose and life direction, or to clarify your beliefs and commitments philosophically or spiritually. So I think that is one real potential. The other thing has to do with clarifying beliefs and ideals within relationships that you have. Could be at work, in intimate relationships, and the role that your beliefs or your higher commitments, let's say your ideals, what role they play in your relationships. If they're not involved in your relationships, oftentimes you'll feel as though your relationships are suffering. And a lot of the times you'll also, when we're not in a lot of relationships, friendships, community with people who share the same values and philosophical or spiritual commitments, or even sometimes political convictions, we end up feeling like we're always on edge, or maybe wanting to pick a fight a little bit more easily, or get into it with other people, or clash about our ideas and beliefs. So a lot of the times, in other words, if you spend a lot of time on social media, for example, you'll get into fights with people because you're exposing yourself to a lot of people who don't share your views and opinions. You're more naturally triggered by that. So you also want to be careful this month about spending time with people where there may be some sense of, principled disagreement. But at the same time, any conflicts that you do get into, again, this month might help you to clarify where you want to go, what you believe, where you're placing your energy and priorities. The ninth house really illuminating the higher truth potentially this month. So on April 5th, there'll be a new moon in Aries. And then between the 10th and the 13th, the sun in Aries will square Saturn and Pluto in the 7th house. So this new moon cycle to come is also placing an emphasis on two powerful houses in your chart. The 10th house, which has to do with your actions in the world, usually related to your profession, sometimes your reputation in the world, and the 7th house of relationships. There could be really big choices or decisions that have to be made between you and a partner, business partner or a lover, and somehow related to work or professional trajectory, or life path and relationships, or professional direction and relationships could be coming together in a strong way right now. Potential to want to start something new out of necessity is also going to be very strong. Aries new moon in the 10th says, let's plant something new. Why are we planting it? Well, because Pluto, Saturn in the 7th, necessity. The balancing point comes on April 19th with the full moon in Libra in your 4th house of home and family. Concerns about home, family, property, domestic things, parents, family karma. This is going to be a balancing sort of counterpoint to the emphasis on starting something new and all of the hard work and sort of principled energy of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn in your 7th. So the thing this month, for as much as you may want to launch in a new direction, is going to be karmic balancing that's happening at home and in the family, taking into consideration the needs of others or concerns about home and family and domestic life, children, etc. So then between April 19th and the 23rd, we're going to see Chiron, which I don't believe I actually have pictured here. Let me put Chiron in. Here we go. So Chiron will receive conjunctions from both Mercury and Venus. They're going to enter Aries, get right into the conjunction with Chiron between April 19th and the 23rd, thereabouts. The potential for healing, knowledge, learning in the workplace is going to be pronounced. Look for strong women, Venus and Aries, to enter your life or to have something to say. Look for the potential for healing confrontations in relationships. Wounded healer Chiron meeting with Venus, goddess of love and friendship and harmony in the sign of the warrior Mars. So looking at that theme of addressing things in relationships, more assertive energy, sometimes healing things like frustration and anger in relationships. And then Mercury, the mind, learning, growing, thinking, speaking, maybe being called on to share some of your expertise to help others learn or grow. But that's a kind of interesting moment to look for around the 20th to 23rd in the career house. So it's interesting because your sense of action in the world right now, where you're going, what you're doing, where you're being led, with Chiron now in your career house for a long time to come, going to be doing a lot of healing work with regard to your professional trajectory. It's going to be, some of it will be difficult, some of it will bring up your wounded places, and other pieces of this transit will call forth some of the deeper wisdom that you have to share with others. All right, so during the same period, between the 20th and 23rd, there's a lot of action going on around that time. The sun will be going into Taurus and will conjoin with Uranus in the 11th house. This is the house of friends, allies, benefactors, groups. Watch for a little bit of a shakeup and a moment of enlightenment or clarity. Sometimes a little bit of rebellious defiance, unexpected events happening around friends or groups, but something that may be quite liberating and helpful as well. Uranus tends to bring breakthroughs, and in the 11th house also kind of things that are, the 11th house traditionally associated with allies, benefactors, anything that might help us to achieve what we're trying to achieve. So kind of a moment of breakthrough, innovation, clarity, the kind of unexpected quality of Uranus, but with the sun usually quite clarifying. So I like that moment around the 20th to 23rd for a nice breakthrough, and possibly in relation to friends or colleagues or groups that you belong to. Finally, between the 26th and 27th of the month, at the very end, Mars in your 12th house will square Neptune in the 9th. This is going to be about sacrifice. Probably Mars in the 12th with Neptune in the 9th, the feeling of having to sacrifice something, or the feeling of having to give something up and being a little torn about it, or also the potential to visit some self-destructive element of your personality or of the path that you're walking in life right now, and the temptation to try to deny or avoid looking at your own demons really honestly. This is an opportunity to clarify how your higher beliefs can, clarifying your higher beliefs and then trusting in them to guide you out of any kind of self-destructive place. It can also be about some kind of challenge, Mars, god of strife, that comes in and has the effect of changing our outlook on life or leading us in a different direction, all of which are part of the 9th house Neptune. It can also be about kind of like, it's a little bit of a Joan of Arc energy, getting caught up in getting on board for a crusade or a mission, or suddenly being filled with the desire to sacrifice or fight on behalf of something bigger. Be careful that you're not giving yourself away or getting involved in some kind of fool's crusade, but otherwise watch for the kind of holy or the spiritual or philosophical call to arms during that Mars Neptune square between the 26th and 27th. So that's what I've got for you this month. I hope this was interesting. As always, I hope it gives you some good things to think about for the month. I'd love to hear from you. Please leave your comments, and we will be back for your horoscope in the month of May. Okay, take care, everyone.